shift social norms and empower. So another problem is, as we are progressing with technology in the world of data science and artificial intelligence, one realization which is coming up is because women had less voice and less participation when machines are learning. Even there also there is a gender gap. Did you know about this? So today we have Professor Lipika De from Ashoka University who will talk on this. Until last year, Lipika was heading the data research in TCS. She has worldwide diverse experience in the field. So Lipika, over to you.
Very good afternoon to all of you, and my job has been really made easy by all the presentations that we have heard before, particularly on the research front. What we saw was data speaks. So all the researchers actually validated, substantiated their points with painstakingly collected data, because today all of us are in a data-driven world. I'm sure you have heard that word very often. Before you even feel hungry, some app reminds you that you should be hungry now. That's data. Okay? So, what are you doing? Why are you doing? When are you doing? All kinds of data seems to be there, which is actually giving us recommendations for the future for doing things, and that's really what is data science. Okay, so this is just a visual representation. As we know, there's constantly churning of a lot of data that we all are generating, by the way, and whether we are searching for information or we are ordering something on online store, whatever, there's a lot of data that we are generating, from which there are algorithms to obtain insights, which are essentially mathematics, statistics, computer science together. And then we have the models or the algorithms, as we say, from which the predictions are made. So this is what a data-driven world is. Now, as you can see, the beginning point is data. So let us go into the I don't know how many of you have read this news. We do read. Thank you. So all of us read often news that the AI models are very biased. Okay. So recently, this is very new, as you can see, 7th March. So UNESCO reported that AI models are biased. Why are they biased? Because if you ask, and possibly many of you have tried your hands on ChatGPT or the search by asking a question, what kind of professions should a woman take? And they'll say nurse, not a doctor. Okay? They'll say teacher. They won't say technologies first. They won't say financier first. They won't say sports. They won't say mountaineering for sure. So why are they saying it? So first of all, why are they calling it biased? Because they won't give the same career choices for women as they would give for men. So that's one of the bias points. And then there are many other questions that you can ask where you will see the bias. So the question is, many people therefore start saying ban the AI tools because the AI tools are biased. The thing that we have to understand is AI cannot be banned now. AI is here to stay. So what can we do about it? We can change the data. We can make our presence more felt in the data space itself. We should have more say in the algorithms, in the models and everything. And thereafter, we can make the AI models work for us as well, and not really think about banning the AI models. So that is what. So let us take a quick look. This is a kind of query. If I give that, show me some summit speakers. Okay, you just see this is what kind of So if I give a query like who are AI, give me some pictures of keynote speakers. See, this is the data. This is real life data as of this. Can you see a single woman speaker out there? You can't. And that's the hardcore data. Because women are not, and that's really a kind of vicious cycle. There are fewer women who are working in AI, fewer women are called, men will call their own friends for the keynote talks, unless they are forced by the diversity agenda to call that one lone female friend they have. And then most of the data out there will also show male speakers. So it's not the AI tool that's wrong, it's the data that is wrong, and it's for us to change the data. So bias in the raw data actually reveals the bias in the real world. That's the hard fact. And yeah, so let us see. I'm not the only one saying it. The actual studying of the data space has started a few years back, and this is a book you can get on the internet also. This book, it reveals some hardcore truths. You will be shocked to find that how women were not even considered while doing drug trials, particularly from 70s through 90s. We take medicines for blood pressure, for sugar, and if you go back to those data trials, you will see there was not a single woman in the whole trial data set. Okay, there was once one particular ruling that pregnant women should not be included. That doesn't mean women of other age groups or all others should not be included in the trials. And that's why a lot more adverse effect of taking medicines happens with women, because different hormones, different lifestyles, everything, and you are taking the same drug, same dose as the men, because these things were never tried. So this is a very shocking book, right from the medical world to looking at how roads are cleaned in US later, and women who drive their children to school in the morning have to really face the snow-cladded roads while they are taking children to school and so on. So there are loads and loads of spaces, particularly important ones like health, law and order and things where women are just not there. So we are talking about a data-driven world where the data doesn't have women in that. So it's called invisible women. This is India statistics of 21. If the data has to come, it comes from smartphone. Look at the smartphone ownership in India. It's almost 50% of women own smartphones than men. Internet use, it's low. So when we are talking about a data science, learning from the data, it's not data that is about women or created by women. Women are not exercising the choice, and I have a lot more data to show you what's happening. So the essential thing is, do women have equal access to generating the information? Do women have equal presence in the digital world? And we can talk about Indian women specifically, because here women own cell phones which are bought by men, and the subscription is by men. So which sites a woman will go to is restricted by men. So we are even worse. So the point I want to make is, let us not throw the AI tool away. It will be like throwing the baby with the bathwater. Rather, let us all take a pledge that we should be the ones to change the scenario. Now, what is needed to make a change in the scenario? What we heard in the earlier panel, that we should be there in the policymakers' seats. We should be drafting the situations. We should be drafting the rules for what women will study, where they should go, and then only we can change this worldwide statistics. It's only 15% of the women are there in data science. So therefore, naturally, it's a man's world. They are designing the interfaces. They are deciding what kind of software will come. Someone was talking about gaming. Do we really like all the murder with guns, etc.? Maybe not. So where are the women's games which women may like to play? So it's time to think alternately. Just go back one second. Just yeah. So these are all the spaces where we need more women. Whether it's generating the data, working on the math, stats, computer science aspects of it, usability, and so on. And so the story of women today have to be constructed from the absent, but I hope all of you will join us in constructing the story better.
I don't raise a question or issue to the purchase. Yesterday I was talking about being against technology, anti-technology, and that is the perspective here. So I thought to add that. So we should be in a position and we should be analytic enough to understand the difference between what is technical advancement and what is the intent of people in using it.
Correct.
Like you were saying that the story is important and we should be in a position to control the situation.
Absolutely.
As developers, I think developers and constructors of the story also
Yeah.
not have the handle task very control.
Yeah, we should be at the controlling positions. We should be at the algorithm design, the UI design at every step.
I'm supposedly an empowered women as per societal measures. I still don't know whether the knowledge of class 11-12 science or BSc science is essential for me to qualify as an AI data scientist. What do I teach my students? I myself don't know.
In 11, 12, you are
11, 12 or BSc, do I need to have physics, chemistry, maths to be a data scientist?
Of course, maths is very essential. That is number one. However, as I would say, data science is a combination of critical thinking. When you are looking at the data, collecting the data, designing algorithms, and designing the validation part of it. Okay, and I mean, you do the regular maths with statistics, calculus, everything at the school level, and then you get into a program. So we do have BSc maths people also joining us for computational sciences at master's level. One can come with statistics background, physics, for that matter. Physics people actually use a lot of data science for analysis of very large data that are coming from the space and everywhere. So it's an art that you have to start learning. And I would say economics people today, psychologists, I do a lot of mental health analysis from social media data, for which I know the data science techniques, but I would love to collaborate with psychologists, behavioral scientists, and so on. And that's the way you have to think that in the data world, where is my place? You just want to be a part in the space, you will find your place. I can guarantee that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, the basic idea is that, you might be terrified of physics and chemistry, but whatever stream you go into, science is there, and science and technology are tools and means of our way of life. So don't be averse to it. Now, how many of the girls here dream of working in a manufacturing setup? Do you want to manufacture cars, aeroplanes, trains? I know you are one of the pioneers. I'm asking the students and not a single hand. So we have with us Nishi Srivastav, and she works in Tata Motors. And Nishi will say how the whole manufacturing world is opening up and wanting girls to join.
Good afternoon, everyone. I think I'm a bit odd one here because I'm not a research scholar. I'm a practitioner, and I am in HR. I take care of HR functions for the Eastern region, sales, marketing, and after sales functions in Tata Motors, and I also lead diversity, equity, and inclusion at Tata Motors. So before I start, I would like to let you know the first thing that comes when we talk about the manufacturing industry is initially manufacturing industry was predominantly men dominated because of the labor intensive work that was there in the manufacturing setup. But we are talking about industry 4.0. So for few of the students over here, they might not be knowing these terminologies. So industrial revolution, we all know, it started in 70s where started with the steam engine, and then the second revolution, industrial revolution, it was industry 2.0. It was around 1870. It started with the mass production, assembly line and all that. And then the third industrial revolution was industry 3.0, that was in around 1969, and it talked about the automated production, the CAD and all that. And now we are in this era that talks about the different types of technology that we have. It's Industry 4.0, and it has changed the overall scenario in the manufacturing setup, and it has opened a lot of new avenues for women workforce, because now technology is taking a major role in the manufacturing setup. I'll talk mostly about the automotive sector because I belong to that sector. I have joined Tata Motors in 2007, so I have 17 years experience in Tata Motors. I started my career in Jamshedpur plant and now in the commercial setup. So now why digital in manufacturing? I have already shared that Industry 4.0. It talks about the different types of technology available. It's whether we call AI, machine learning, SES, IoT. These are all the technological terms that we are using. And students, when you are going for higher education, especially engineering, if you are going to pursue, you will be going through all these courses. So this all talks about big data, virtual reality, augmented reality. So all these areas have some different kind of scope in a manufacturing setup, especially in an automobile sector. So there is a shift in the business model. You can see that it is no more an enterprise-centric, it's service industry, it's a network-centric, renewable energy. So we are talking so many new things in the automobile sector. Yeah, I would like to explain the automobile value chain. This is one of the important slides. So, an automobile industry is not only a factory or a plant. It has different components. First is the research and design. It starts with how you design the automobile. So you have career opportunities in that sector also. So people who are interested in designing cars, automobiles, you can study these courses like how to design an automobile, AutoCAD. These are the softwares available. So concept, design, prototype, test, simulate, validate, and certify. So there is one area where you can think of your career in an automobile industry. Second is manufacturing, where you have to get knowledge of artificial intelligence, machine learning, data analytics, SES. I will explain what is SES. Then supply chain, the entire warehouse, logistics. This is another area that is related to automobile. Then sales and marketing, that is another area because we, if I talk about Tata Motors, we are not directly selling in the market, but there is another scope where we have also started selling online. It was never heard that 40 lakhs, 50 lakh truck is also sold online. Now e-commerce is there. So we are also selling now trucks also through online platforms. So we have OSP. So this is another area where you can have your career in sales marketing, because earlier we used to feel that you have to go to a customer and NACA because the truck drivers and all that, but now that is not the scenario. These are the future scope in the sales marketing of automobile also. Then automobile ecosystem. So apart from the OEMs, the original equipment manufacturer like Tata Motors, Ashok Leyland, Mahindra, Hyundai, Maruti, there are other dealerships also where there are many career opportunities because they are also working with us as channel partners, vendors. So there is another. So these are the different career opportunities available within automobiles. So these are the concepts, the technological interventions that has recently been introduced as a part of Industry 4.0. SES is connected, electric, shared and safe. So we all know that there are so many electric vehicles are in the market. We are talking about connected vehicles. So whatever data is generated, it is used as artificial intelligence, and this data is used for different purposes. Predictive maintenance. So the data will tell you when your vehicle need to be sent to the workshop for maintenance. It also talks about traffic management, personalized driving experience. So basis your data, your vehicle will play the songs that you like. What kind of driving experiences you have, it will give you that kind of data. Self-driving cars, we have also heard that now this data can be utilized for, like Tesla has already started this concept. Then advanced driver assistance system, where if there is a problem, your vehicle will automatically stop. So you need not worry to think about that. Then augmented reality and virtual reality. It's like when you are going to buy a car, now you can have you can visualize and you can experience it. Like we say na, pehle istemal karo, fir vishwas karo. So you can just run that vehicle on using this augmented reality and virtual reality, and then only you can by the vehicle. So this is how the future of car buying would be. So it's no more that you need to go to a showroom and buy a car. You can just log into the website of that particular company through the augmented reality. You can just experience that vehicle, and you can, if you want to buy, you can buy that vehicle. So are you future ready? Since you know that all these technologies are coming, so this question is for all the students. Are you future ready? So these are the future skill sets required. You need to be tech savvy in all these electric, autonomous, Internet of Things. Please try to read about these concepts if you want to make a career. Engineering, and now it's robotic engineering that's coming up. You can have a career in that. Big data analytics, because it talks about so many vehicles, so many customers, so many data, so that's also important. But apart from that, there are other avenues also, like sustainability is a big concept. You can think of a career like a sustainability practitioner. You can go for courses like environmental science also. It has also a very good future in automobile also. Diversity, equity and inclusion, HR, finance, corporate social responsibilities are the related. Now since this is mostly, the room is filled with women, so I wanted to show this slide that in the Tata Motors, when we went for a campus interviews, in our advertisement, since it was a male-dominated sector, it was mentioned that only men can apply. And that time Sudha Murthy was also studying engineering, and she had written a postcard to J.R.D. Tata, then chairman, and he had changed the policy, and we had recruited Sudha Murthy. She was the first woman engineer who had joined Tata Motors in 1974, and from 1974 today we have approximately 9%. This is an old data, but now we are in double digits. So we have specific programs and equitable policies for women so that they can join our workforce. So that STEM, we have spoken about so many things about STEM. So generally, women have a tendency to go for humanities, and even if they are in engineering, they go for computer science and mechanical engineering. There are very few women they are opting for. But now with Industry 4.0, electrical, electronics, and other aspects are also there. You can join these courses and join this sector and be the shop floor head, because these are few areas where women are not present, and Tata Motors is also keen to have more and more women joining the workforce. So that's all from my side. I'm open for any question.
Any questions? Ask.
As pursuing a commerce student, can we also be a part of engineering and data science? Can we also study it and pursue a career in data science?
Commerce student. So education wise, I won't be able to comment, but if you are a commerce graduate, you can join any of these industries as a chartered accountant also, because there are so many functions that are enablers. So like I am in HR, I am an enabling function also. I am not an academician, so I won't be able to guide. I am sorry for that. Maybe some other, you can guide.
Yeah, if you are studying commerce, I guess your expertise, the first level expertise is in handling financial data. So data science would be something on top of this. You can do a course, maybe a short-term course or master's in data science, so that you know the data science algorithms, aspects, models, everything, and you will be an expert in handling financial data more. You can utilize. And once you know that, you will see you can handle other data also.
I went to South India, South India is really leading the country. 42% of women in manufacturing are in South India. See, with all this technology, you don't need muscle power. So, women are actually preferred. And we have invited several NGOs also, and we are all struggling when we are working in rural areas to build career aspirations, to share with their possible career opportunities, and these are options which are unknown. And that's why I requested Nishi to come and share. And talking of aspirations, and also several points which other people mentioned in the previous discussions. They spoke about critical thinking, that's so critical. And we're in a diverse world. As you've seen, we have Nepal, Bangladesh, US and India here, and the problems are same, and we all need to get together to change all this. So we need to know collaboration. We're talking of diversity, equity, inclusion. So not only science and technology, but there are other aspects we also need to get ourselves prepared with. And for that, I'll now invite first Aditi Vyas. Aditi is the Assistant Director, Gender, Youth and Development at ICRW Asia. And she is going to share some perspectives from their work with young people.
Thank you so much, Ananya. It's been really lovely just sitting here listening to such a diverse set of voices. I want you to just take a minute and look around yourself. Whom do you see? Speak like this, I'm audible, right? So you see students, you have academicians, you have teachers, and a lot of majority women, right? But what I want us to think for a second is every time we talk about inclusive career pathways, what does inclusivity really mean? Does inclusivity for me, is it the same for inclusivity for Ananya or the student who asked the question in the morning to Lisa or Elizabeth? Does it really mean the same thing? The options, the career options that we're talking about which are available today for a girl who is studying in a government school who comes probably from a slum community in Delhi are going to be very different for the career options that a girl in rural Jharkhand can expect. So when we talk about inclusive career options, we have to really also be very mindful of that. And here everybody is talking about career preparedness, what is it that we want to do. In the morning, I think Elizabeth asked, do we know what we want to become in the future? Many of us do, many of us don't. But to be able to even think like that for yourself, to really think for yourself, what is it that you want? Not what your parents tell you, not what your teachers tell you, not what the society tells you. What is it that you want? You need to have those skills from the very beginning. We cannot expect women to be in leadership positions, women to be in STEM without really inculcating that from the very beginning. So what is it that one can do and what is it that one can really look for? One has to have skills beyond technical education or proper education. You need to be able to think about critical thinking, problem solving, empathy. When I'm working or studying with my fellow classmates, do I have empathy for them? Do I really, if they are going through a problem, can I support them in any way? Do I have empathy for another woman who might not be in my situation, who might not be as financially independent, or who might not have a job, who might be very happy staying at home and taking care of her children if she has children? So how do we develop these skills? I'm sure a lot of us here know, teachers know that NEP 2020, that's National Education Policy 2020, talks about future readiness, it talks about 21st century skills. So it's all a buzzword. But we need to unpack it a little bit here. So when we talk about these skills, life skills are also not gender blind. They have to be taught in a manner which is contextual. We are part of a collaborative that developed a glossary of 52 life skills that should be taught as part of the curriculum in schools. And ICRW developed assessments. Somebody spoke about assessments, I think, and that how should these skills be assessed. And another professor, she spoke about critical thinking. Now you have to develop these skills from the very beginning, and it's so interesting. When you talk about social emotional learning, in the pilot testing, girls did better than boys. Why? Because girls are socialized differently. We are taught in the morning, somebody said, my mother said, please be loud. That's not usually what we get to hear. We are told, you communicate in a certain way, tez mat bolo, zyada haso mat. Men are told very differently. So, life skills are also not necessarily gender neutral. So, we need to really start thinking about, when we're talking about inclusive career pathways, there are two parts to it. One is really thinking about the skills, not just the hard skills, the education, but the soft skills, which you inculcate in kids from the very beginning. And second is really, is the industry prepared? Is the industry really ready to take on the girls and the women who will tomorrow say, yes, I want to be in manufacturing, who are not in South India, who are in Delhi, or who are in Jharkhand, or who are in Bihar? Is the industry really ready? How do we link the two? How do we really bring the population of kids now who's growing up, the alpha generation, and really ensure that our industries are ready to take on those children and women? I want to know how many of you in the school children suppose you met? How many of you know people or at some point thought, okay, maybe I want to be a YouTuber or an influencer? Yeah? The metrics of what a successful career looks like has changed. It is changing, and it is changing very rapidly. People want to do other things. They want to get into data. They want to get into AI.
where is the training, where is the capacity, where is the information about it? The way I access information will be very different from the way another person accesses information. We have spoken about the digital gender gap. We have spoken about basically all of this to say we are very well aware that the social norms do hold us back. There's still a very long way to go. But the way to come at it is really both ways. You have to have policies to ensure that women are entering the workforce and are being retained in the workforce. And policies which are not just giving lip service कि हाँ एक DEI के लिए tokenistic औरत को hire कर लिया, right? Policies which enable the woman to continue work irrespective of her situation, whether she has kids or not. Entire COVID pandemic, we spoke about flexibility, working from home for women. Men don't need flexibility. They are not supposed to be caretakers or child rearers. So one is to have the policies top down, sure, very important. But also look at what is our grounded reality. Where are the women and girls coming from? What is that they need? We must remember the group of girls, women, is not a homogeneous group. It has to be contextual. Everybody has their own different needs. So to build a system where those needs can be met. If a girl in Jharkhand, what did she do in class after class 10 or class 12? उसके पास क्या options है? What are the local ITIs? What kind of courses are they offering? What are the industries she can go to? So through some of our programming, we have done that. We developed a whole curriculum around gender-related life skills. We teach it to girls and boys. Because when we talk about gender equality, it cannot be just about girls. It has to be about men and boys. They are allies. The population is split, right? So it has to be everybody. And along with that, while you give them the skills, you also tell them you have to be able to stand for your aspirations. Stand in your power. What does that mean? Be able to communicate what you really think. To be able to really ask for what you want in life. And those are the skills that while the government is pushing for, that's something that we also should be thinking about as educators and students. Thank you so much.
कहा कि मतलब हमें अब आगे नहीं पढ़ना है क्योंकि हम गांव से हैं ना, तो हमारे गांव में एक मतलब ये धारणा, ये सोच बना ली गई थी कि मतलब लड़कियां हाई स्कूल तक ही पढ़ेंगे। तो जब हमने भी हाई स्कूल पास किया तो मेरे घर वालों ने भी कहा कि आप मत पढ़ो, तुम जितना पढ़ना था पढ़ चुकी हो। तो मैंने कहा कि नहीं, हम पढ़ेंगे। जैसे मतलब हम ब्रेक थ्रू से जुड़े हैं, मतलब पहले अपने घर में हम किसी से बात नहीं कर पाते थे अपने लिए, अपनी पढ़ाई के लिए, लेकिन जब से हम ब्रेक थ्रू से जुड़े हैं मतलब थोड़ी हिम्मत आई अपने घर वालों से बात करने के लिए। अब हम अपने घर वालों से खुलकर बात करते हैं, किसी की मतलब बात की ज़रूरत होती है तो अपने घर में हम खुलकर बात करते हैं, अपने लिए कहते हैं कि हमें ये चाहिए नहीं। लड़कियाँ हमेशा सिलाई, पार्लर यही सब करना चाहते थे, लेकिन हमने सोचा कि मतलब थोड़ा अलग हो, तो हमेशा से पार्लर सिलाई हमेशा से होता है लड़कियों के लिए, लेकिन अगर हम कुछ अलग करेंगे तो ज़्यादा बेहतर है।
Standing in between lunch and this time, so I'll be very brief. The kind of discussions that we have been having since morning is what young people want to become. And Breakthrough is an organization and we are based out of Delhi. We work with adolescents like Shanti, जिनको aspiration का मतलब भी समझ में नहीं आता था. Like when we would go to the villages of Haryana and UP and if we would ask these girls that what do you want to become, they would just stare at us. वो बोलते थे कि become का मतलब बनना चाहते हो मतलब क्या? हमारी तो 16 साल के बाद शादी हो जाती है. And in many places, in many of the villages, especially after COVID, girls got married like at the age of 13, 14, and it was very normal in those villages, you know. And Breakthrough works in these 6 states. We work in Bihar, we used to work in Bihar, we now work in Jharkhand, Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, and we work in the villages, in government schools, through a gender equity curriculum. And like Aditi said, no, it's a life skills curriculum, but we look at it from a gender lens. और सुबह से जितना भी बात हुआ है, and people were saying, and I think Elizabeth was mentioning that, you know, plumber, technician, in India, I don't even see one woman plumber. At least Delhi में तो मैंने नहीं देखा है. I have not seen it in Calcutta. I'm not sure in other places. Even I would not even aspire to be a plumber. I don't know about the boys or the men. So the job sector and the career aspirations are very gendered in our country as a whole. And in the villages and in the schools where we work, schools हम सबके लाइफ में बहुत important है. मुझे तो आज भी अपने school days याद है. I mean, for me, my role models were my teachers. So I wanted to be a teacher. The other reason was I had not many options in front of me as role models. Because in the textbooks which I read and in the textbooks which are taught to girls like Shanti and other adolescents, वहाँ पे यही लिखा जाता है, सुबह उठ के रवि स्कूल गया and Shanti घर पे मम्मी का हाथ बटाया. Most of the textbook curriculums will have these kind of examples, at least in the places where we work. So it was a long journey for us. And what we realized that we need to work not only with the adolescents, we also need to work with their parents. We also need to work with the school teachers. Another interesting thing that we saw when we were working in the school system was in the villages of Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, और आप सबको शायद पता है कि these are the patriarchal regions of India. मतलब यहाँ पे patriarchy हर बहुत forms में हमें दिखा जाता, हम देख पाते हैं. So when we were going to the schools and we had to negotiate with the teacher and the principals, we need 60 minutes to implement or to take the class. That the Taro Ki Toli, if you go to the Breakthrough website, you will see what this curriculum is all about, and I can talk about it later also. What we really saw that in the schools, the boys were sitting on one side and the girls were sitting on the other side, and they don't even talk to each other. And when corporal punishment is very rampant, and it's mostly the boys who are bitten with a stick. And when we ask the principal that corporal punishment तो banned है, so they say ये तो डराने के लिए रखा है, मारते थोड़ी ना है. So we work in situations like this, and the teachers, they ask when we go to the school, the teachers, they ask the boys to get the chairs, and they ask the girls to get a glass of water for us. So ये जो gender norm है ना, ये हर जगह पे है. Just it is so normalized for us that we don't even question. So what essentially we do is we work at different levels. One is we work at the schools. We work with adolescents from 11 to 18 years, and we negotiate for this classroom time where we implement our Taro Ki Toli curriculum, which has different life skills. But those life skills that Aditi was also talking about will help you understand the gender disparities that exist in your life. For example, I'll give you one example again. Pitch points for us. And the other part of our work is engaging teachers and also engaging parents. And we request and we have these small community events and discussions with them where we ask them to examine their own biases. And we negotiate with them that if there's a playground there, please allow the girls to go and play football with the boys. It's a big ask. Even in places like Haryana and UP, which are so close to Delhi, playing together in your leisure time, boys and girls together, is something that people have not even thinking of allowing. It takes a lot of negotiation. And one heartening thing that we have seen nowadays, that because of our sustained work for 5, 6, 7 years, our community champions, they take the lead. They go and negotiate with their peers, they go and negotiate with their parents, they go and negotiate with the Panchayati Raj members that if there is a playground, let it be accessible for both boys and girls. One last point, I think there was a discussion around transport and mobility. Somebody spoke about it in the morning. For the girls, even coming to school was a big challenge because the road for coming to school was very unsafe. And then the immediate reaction of the parents would be sit at home. Very different context from what we experience in Calcutta or in urban areas. So the onus is always on the girls But I think the kind of program that we anchor in the different states, we also reach out to the more influential people in the community and in the families, and we tell them that, come together, and it's not as easy as the way I'm saying. It's very difficult. It takes a lot of persuasion. But yeah, that's where I'll stop.